Brought to you by ExpressCare Health and Skin Center. Get in, get out, get better.
Welcome back to Healthy Living. Last week we talked about magnesium, and this week we're going to talk about calcium, its function, and its benefits. Joining me now is ExpressCare's Dr. Jitka Lom. Thank you so much, Doc, for coming.
Nice to see you.
You too. Now, what is calcium?
Okay. Well, as you know, it's a mineral that's found in the earth around us and in our own bodies. Our skeletons are made of 99% of our skeleton is made out of calcium. A small amount of the calcium is released into our bloodstream, so then we can use it for all of our different bodily functions.
Okay. Now, why does calcium need to be taken with magnesium?
Right, so calcium has a, let's say, constricting effect, okay? It's something that can be deposited in different tissues around our body, and calcium is also used in our muscles to help them contract. So one of the main events that occurs when muscles tighten up and when they're working is that we're using calcium channels in there. And to balance it out, we need magnesium. So magnesium will help us absorb our calcium better, it will help our muscles function better, and it will just basically create balance.
Okay. Now, can you share with us why calcium is so important?
Well, I guess, you know, our body has a regulating effect for any electrolyte that we have in our body, for our sodium, for our potassium, and also for our calcium. We need just the right amount. If we have too much, for example, our heart rate can go crazy. We can have spasms. Again, I mentioned it's a constricting thing, so you might have some spasms and things like that. If you have too little, you're going to feel very weak, low energy, fatigue. If you have too much, you're going to get constipated. If you have too little, your bowels will not function properly. So there's a balance in our body for each one of these elements, and one of them is calcium.
Okay. Now, can you share with me, what are calcium deposits?
Right. So calcium can be it can be like a stone, right? It can form in different parts of our body. We can find them in our skin as tiny little calcium deposits that we call milia. Oftentimes people have tiny little white dots around their eyes. They look like whiteheads, but when you feel them, they feel very hard, and that's a calcium deposit. But more ominously, you can also develop calcium deposits around your heart, in the arteries that feed your heart. So there's actually a measurement that can be done. You can have a test done where you can see how much calcium is in your arteries. Of course, if you have a lot of calcium, you get hardening of the arteries, okay? Then they don't work as well, they don't supply the heart muscle as well, and you're at higher risk of a heart attack. Same thing in the brain for stroke.
Okay, now you mentioned milia.
Milia.
Now, I believe I have some milia
You may.
around my eyes, and I was just wondering what those were. Mm-hmm. So can you share with us, how do you get rid of them, and what causes them to grow?
It's so weird. What causes them, no one knows, and why should you get a little bump here and not elsewhere? No one knows that. But skin will accumulate little tiny bits of calcium, and you can remove them just with a tiny needle, of course clean. Don't do this at home. And you just pick them out, and a little tiny little calcium stone will pop out. Thinking of stones, another area of calcium deposits is, of course, in kidneys and kidney stones. So calcium can be a troublemaker as well.
Okay, what causes them, though?
Kidney stones?
Well, just the calciums to build up.
Oh, well, it will crystallize. So there are different, calcium by itself it can bind to different things. So for example, in the kidney, it can bind to something called oxalate, which is found in tea and coffee, come together and create a stone. Same thing in the arteries of the heart. Again, it can crystallize there and create a deposit. That's where the magnesium comes in, because the magnesium will prevent that crystallization from happening. So you're going to prevent some of these problems by taking enough magnesium.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I don't have enough magnesium
Most
in me
people don't. Most people don't, though, because of our diets.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, can you share with us, what is a calcium score?
Calcium score. Okay, that one is just something that radiologists, X-ray doctors will measure when they're taking pictures with a CT scan or MRI of the arteries around the heart or the aorta. They can see how calcified are they.
Okay, now do you know how that scale is rated? I mean, to the extreme, does that
it's
cause?
just it's measurements of millimeters, for example. So you can see this on plain X-rays too, though. For example, if somebody goes for a chest X-ray, we see their bones, their ribs, and so on, and their spine. But if they are an older person, we'll see a calcified aorta. We'll see their aorta as a little sort of squiggly thing there. That used to be just a very nice soft blood vessel, and now it's hardened over the years
So
because of
it
calcium.
looks like a bone
It
in
looks,
a way.
it almost looks like a bone, like a pipe.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much,
Sure.
Doc. And we are just getting started, so stay tuned because when Healthy Living returns,